and welcome to this bonus episode of the Orthodontic Products Podcast. I'm your host, Allison Werner. With the release of our annual product focus issue, we're taking a closer look at a few of the products offered by our advertisers. In this episode, we'll take a look at brackets from Allure Orthodontics, TP Orthodontics, and Dynaflex, the Orthodontic Buying Club, Mary's List, Ortho2 practice management software, an electric toothbrush from Procter & Gamble, Crest and Oral-B that is designed for orthodontic patients, and a first in the orthodontic space, the Xeno Practice Robot. Yes, your practice can have its own robot. So let's get started with brackets, a product category at the heart of orthodontic treatment. I spoke to Josh Samoji, Vice President of Allure Orthodontics, about the company's flagship product, the Allure Mini Twin Brackets. I asked him about what differentiates this bracket system.
Well, for the last 8 years, they've offered consistent, reliable results, basically giving doctors the option to break away from more expensive brackets to use a great quality, competitively priced bracket. It's really kind of the easy overhead that they normally have to deal with.
And when it comes to what orthodontists can expect with these brackets, Samoji had this to say.
So we didn't reinvent the wheel. These are just great stainless steel, 17.4 stainless steel, 80 gauge mesh-based brackets that do the job day in, day out. And it's kind of thing that a doc can use and know that they're going to get those reliable results every time.
And his number one tip for users when implementing the Allure Mini Twin Brackets into their clinical workflow?
Just to use it. It's a slam dunk. It's a no-brainer. Well, like I said, there's a lot of talk. Obviously, technology is amazing, and there's so many new things out there in regards to plastics and custom braces and things like that. Again, a lot of talk of the industry moving in a different direction. But at the end of the day, wires and brackets and doctors that move teeth will always kind of win out. Those brackets are there to help guide along and make it a really good one. So it's like a no-brainer. Just use it, I promise. You'll see why.
Now let's take a look at an aesthetic bracket solution, specifically the InView aesthetic bracket system from TP Orthodontics. I had the chance to ask Sandra Hofer, Vice President of Global Marketing at TP Orthodontics, about the need InView addresses for both orthodontists and their patients.
Our InView ceramic bracket system is really designed for patients and orthodontists. The main need that it meets is really the demand for aesthetic treatment, and especially for those patients that the doctor doesn't feel really is a great aligner candidate. So just a great product to give them a treatment option that's more tried and true, kind of set it and forget it. Taking it a step further, we're also available in pre-coated for added efficiency, so which is another benefit to the practice. And also, we all have heard the inherent problems with a lot of the ceramics in terms of difficult debonding, breakage, staining. There's a lot of negativity around ceramic. And at TP Orthodontics, we've spent years developing a bracket to address all of those issues. And we've come up with a bracket that really functions like a metal bracket, but looks beautiful and meets, like I said, the demand for aesthetics for patients.
And when it comes to how the InView ceramic bracket system stands out on the market, Hofer was quick to talk about how TP Orthodontics has worked to develop a system that addresses the debonding issues that often make orthodontists wary of ceramic brackets.
So I would say the number one benefit and unique aspect of our bracket and all of our ceramic brackets is that we have a unique polymer base. And what happens with this base, it serves as an enamel protection interface between the tooth surface and the ceramic material. So what happens when the doctor goes to debond the bracket, it comes off very easily like a metal bracket with not a lot of cleanup, burring, things like that. And so, like I said, we're the only company that offers that enamel protection interface in terms of a polymer base. And it's our best feature, I believe, because it's always about patient safety and satisfaction.
And when it comes to her number one tip for implementing the InView bracket system, Hofer recommends clinicians be sure to incorporate the aesthetic wires to get the true aesthetic look patients are looking for.
The number one tip I have would be to also incorporate the aesthetic wires along with the treatment with the brackets. A lot of times we see patients that, have aesthetic brackets, but metal wires. It doesn't really give 100% aesthetic look. And our aesthetic wires are only coated on the labial surface. So what that does for the doctor is gives a wire that feel, function, form, the size. Nothing changes from a standard arch wire because the coating is only on the surface. And it does just make for a really good aesthetic system. I might add that our aesthetics to the bracket have also been published in peer-reviewed journals, and with a conclusion that they're visually imperceptible. So it's kind of cool for patients, especially since they don't really show in photos, which is kind of an added benefit that we didn't realize until we heard patients talking about that.
Now, if you're looking for a passive self-ligating bracket system, I spoke to Mike Parlante, Director of Business Development at Dynaflex, about the Norris metal bracket system to learn about its unique feature.
So the Norris system is a nickel-free, cobalt chromium, passive self-ligating system, typically finishing with 3 wires, common size wires. It has an ultra-precise 020 by 026 arch wire slot. It has a proprietary base, and it has the most technologically advanced door design, which is frankly bulletproof. So for doctors that love the workflow of passive self-ligating, they love free sliding mechanics with light wires, they love transverse arch width, but they've been looking for more predictable torque and rotational control. This addresses and solves that problem. On the patient end, for patients that are looking for aesthetics, they're looking for broad, beautiful smiles, and less patient visits to the orthodontic practice. This allows them to get to the most aesthetic results very efficiently.
Parlante then went on to explain how the Norris System's archwire slot is unique and how it gives orthodontists the free sliding mechanics you love at the beginning of treatment and better torque and rotational control with the finishing wire.
So a little secret in the world of orthodontics and bracket manufacturing is that the archwire slot is larger than what is advertised. It's not controversial. It's well documented. There have been many journal articles that have shown and demonstrated that bracket slots that are intended to be 022 are actually closer to 024. We have to keep in mind is that these are like really, really small dimensions that are it's complex manufacturing process. So with injection molding metal, which is how brackets are made, what happens is that the metal minutely shrinks after it is produced. So to compensate for this, it's been universally accepted that manufacturers will make the archwire slot intentionally larger so that the opposite problem doesn't happen and it's too small for the right wires to fit. But what happens here is that the wires that are used with those bracket systems that are supposed to express the prescription that is built into them are not fully engaging with the archwire slot. And this is exactly why it's just been accepted that you get unpredictable movements, you have wire bending and repositionings occur, and it's timely. What we have done is we have put a post-manufacturing process in place with where it automatically ensures that it is really an 020 slot. So now the doctors are getting all of the free sliding mechanics that they love in the beginning, but they're picking up torque earlier on in that second wire, which is an 1818, and they're getting a lot more torque and rotational control with their finishing wire, which is a 1925, which I may add is like a very common wire that all orthodontists are very comfortable finishing with. And now if you combine that with the door, the proprietary base and all of that, you get no door failures, you get very few debonds, and you're able to get really efficient results with a system that is well designed. It's just reliable.
When asked what his number one tip for clinicians adopting the Norris bracket system, Parlante spoke about the user community.
Take advantage of the Norris community. There is no magic appliance. The Norris system is a well thought out, well designed, great ROI, but we firmly still believe in sound, solid, aesthetic, and clinical CE continuing ed. And we do in-person, we routinely are doing in-person courses with Dr. Foster, Dr. Norris, and others. And we also have a large network of orthodontists that offer support to newcomers using this system to help with bracket positioning, to help with closing space, and any other things that can help them get the ball rolling. Great ROI on the product itself and the upfront cost. However, and using, regardless of the appliance you're using, leaning on the network of doctors, because there are just little things that orthodontists can do that will make huge impacts on the outcomes of cases and improve that ROI.
Next up, we take a look at Mary's List, the largest orthodontic exclusive buying group in the US and Canada. Mary's List uses collective buying power to negotiate exclusive discounts for its orthodontic members and has a roster of 175 companies offering discounts. I spoke to Mary Sawtelle, founder of Mary's List, to learn about the specific need Mary's List addresses for orthodontic practices across North America.
Mary's List is the largest orthodontist exclusive study club and buying group in North America. We have over 3,000 offices, and we negotiate, have huge buying power, pass all the savings to our members.
And when it comes to what sets Mary's List apart, Sawtelle spoke about the community they've been able to build.
I think what makes us stand out is we've been in business for 12 years, and our reputation in the industry, where we provide excellent service, products that are vetted by companies that are all authorized dealers and don't allow any gray market, so doctors can rest assured nothing they buy through a company that's a vendor partner would ever put their practice or their license at risk. We are different as far as we are mostly member driven, and we grow because our doctors that save tell their friends. And we offer solutions not only on savings, but products and services, and help doctors grow their practice with our group of over 3,000 offices. The Mary's List member forum consists of over 1,750 orthodontists, where we all talk to each other every day and we share valuable information.
For those thinking of joining, Sawtelle offers advice for making sure you get the return on investment for your membership.
I think that the number one tip I have is when a doctor first joins is to spend time in our portal. We built an amazing portal where you can search all the companies and the products. We offer coaching with our trainers that you can schedule. My team is amazing. We have over 200 years of orthodontic knowledge, and we won the Best Orthodontic Service Award last year at the AAO. So we are very good at what we do. I'm very, very proud of my team and what we have built, and our doctors will tell you that the savings is many, many, many times more than the membership alone.
Now, turning to software, I talked to Jess Hunikins, Regional Manager at Ortho2. Ortho2 Edge Cloud delivers practice management, imaging, and communication systems as part of its platform, while focusing in on patient interactions. Here's what Hunikins had to say about the platform.
Ortho2, we sell practice management software. So that's, as the name sort of suggests, is pretty straightforward. It manages your practice, stores all of your patient data, so all of your patient images, gives you a software platform to utilize things like payment processors and all of the treatment and everything else that goes along with practice management software. So it is mostly in-house for practices, but we do have features that are patient-focused as well. Things like reminders and a portal, as well as other things that are being developed all the time.
And when I asked him about what makes Ortho2 stand out in the market, Hunikins asked Ortho2 Edge Cloud users directly to tell him. And the answer was people and experience.
I actually was at a meeting last weekend, and I was prepping for this, asked several different people, and one of the things that they focused on a lot for us was the fact that we have been family owned since 1982. We have a lot of longevity in the industry. When you call support, chances are you're going to get somebody who's worked there for 10 years or more. So the people side of our practice management software is very strong. So our customers really appreciate that. But then on top of that, we strive to be sort of a one-stop shop, have as much of those things that you're going to need for your practice management built right into one software. And so with all of the experience that we have of over 40 years of developing software and the human component and just combining everything, we really do stand out against most of our competition.
Now, when it comes to implementing a new practice management software into the orthodontic office, the process can be daunting. Hoonigan's offered a key tip to make sure your practice is prepared and the process can be as seamless as possible.
It seems a little out there, but I always say prep your staff. The software is going to do what the software does. And if the people in your office don't want to do it, they're just not going to. So we offer a lot of resources for customers that are starting from scratch and from, maybe converting from another software. We offer a lot of resources well ahead of your training dates to get your staff up and running. You just have to implement those. So we've done a lot of work over the years to help really get people ready for a transition in software.
Now, turning to oral hygiene products, I spoke to Dr. Stephanie Gans, Senior Scientist in Professional and Scientific Relations at Procter & Gamble Creston Oral-B Professional, about the company's Creston Oral-B iO Ortho Essentials electric toothbrush system and how it can improve patient outcomes during orthodontic treatment and free up chair time.
So, up to 96% of patients have some sort of oral disease during treatment. And as we know, poor oral health can really impact the treatment, whether it be decay, white spot lesions, gingivitis. And what's more is that it can have an effect on the practice as well, whether it be referrals or time spent in the chair. Research has shown that 3 or more poor oral health entries can extend treatment by a little over 2 months. So we definitely want to make sure that patients are staying on track. So with the Creston Oral-B Ortho Essential System, it has all of the products together to help your patients get the best possible outcome. It includes the Oral-B iO, so our greatest oscillation rotation power brush, our stannous fluoride paste, which has many benefits, including anti-erosion, anti-sensitivity, anti-caries, and can help prevent and treat gingivitis, as well as floss, a fluoridated rinse, and our targeted clean brush head, which is really the only type on the market that is a power brush head that can get around all those hard to reach areas. So inside aligners, around brackets, wires, etc. So really a one-stop shop for everything you need to help your patients take care of your teeth during orthodontic treatment.
To really understand how this electric toothbrush stands out in the market, I asked Dr. Gans to explain the technology behind the toothbrush.
Yeah, so the Oral-B iO has what's known as oscillation rotation technology. So it does not spin. You can think of it like a washing machine or a hula dancer. It goes so many degrees clockwise and then so many degrees counterclockwise. And the benefit of that is that when the bristles change direction, it produces the force that can really effectively remove the plaque biofilm. So the oscillations are helping you to get the best possible clean, as well as the small round brush head. The small round brush head adapts to those hard to reach areas, those embrasure spaces, for the best possible clean. And actually, there was a recent meta-analysis published that showed that compared to different types of brushes, including older models of oscillation rotation, sonic, and manual, 88% of iO users transitioned to a state of health, which was the most out of any other category.
And when it comes to how to have the Creston Oral-B iO Ortho Essentials electric toothbrush really have an impact on patient treatment, Dr. Gans was quick to encourage orthodontists to make specific product recommendations to patients who are often overwhelmed when standing in the oral hygiene section of their pharmacy. They trust you to be the expert.
I think my number one advice would be, if possible, include it in the treatment plan. Mm-hmm. And if that is not an opportunity, I would be very prescriptive with how I give a recommendation to my patient. Research has shown that it's very important to have a very specific recommendation. There's lots of different power brushes on the market, and without a very specific branded recommendation, patients will go to the store and they'll get overwhelmed and they won't buy anything. So you can think of it like if you were going to buy a hair product, say your hair was frizzy and the hairstylist said, just go get anything that says anti-frizz. You'd be overwhelmed and perhaps you wouldn't even get anything. But if they said, go get this specific product, and if it really helped to solve your problem, it would instill a sense of trust and loyalty, or loyalty, not royalty. It will instill a sense of trust and loyalty with that person. And it's the same thing with our toothbrushes. Our patients, we're the experts to them. So they need to understand what's the best for them, what they should get, and if possible, for the best way to get patients to follow up on your recommendation. If you can carry the products in the office, that's even better.
Now we turn to a newer product category in the orthodontic space, robotics. Did you know that you could have your own practice robot? Well, that's what Zeno Robotics is offering with Zeno. I spoke with Todd Blankenbeckler, the company's CEO, to find out exactly what Zeno can do for your orthodontic practice.
Zeno Robotics is the first robotic office solution for practices. And really, our mission is to bring robotics to the orthodontic space, really to make practices more efficient, kind of forward-thinking and modern. Some of the features that Zeno supports is it escorts patients to chairs, fetches and carries items around the office, supports a come here and go to function. So you could say, come here, Zeno, and have it play a video. And it includes Stella. And Stella is a custom AI chatbot so patients can interact with Zeno.
Blankenbeckler then spoke about what makes Zeno unique and how it can be a practice differentiator.
I think what is unique about Zeno is, since we're the first office automation robot in the market, there's really no one else doing this. So that's unique in itself. But really at the practice, what's unique is for patients that come in and see Zeno, they're going to see that the practice is investing in visible technology, or technology that the patients can see. And so it really projects a perception that the practice is current and modern, and the patient experience is going to be cool, and going to the doctor with a robot, and sort of all that perception of the practice is current and modern is what's unique about Zeno, along with the real benefits of saving time, escorting patients to chairs, playing videos, allowing the staff to interact more with the patient. That's what's unique about Zeno.
And if you're thinking of bringing Zeno into your practice, Blankenbeckler has a few tips to really maximize your return on investment.
So the very first tip for implementing Zeno is you can buy a robot for your practice today. So step one is understanding you can buy a robot. And step two is to really implement the robot into your daily workflow. So work with the staff to have Zeno escort patients to the chair, or use Zeno to come over and play an education video while the patient is in the chair, or bring Zeno over and have the patient interact with Stella. So it's really understanding that you can buy a robot, tip number one. Tip number two is to implement the robot into the practice day to day.
Well, that will wrap up this episode. Be sure to check out our annual product focus issue at orthodontproductsonline.com. The digital issue is now available and features products ranging from aligners and wires to software and patient products. And thanks for listening to the Orthodontic Products Podcast. Be sure to check out orthodontproductsonline.com to keep up with the latest industry news. Until next time, take care.